What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to episode 3 of the Frontline Film Podcast. Um, this week we're going to be reviewing Den of Thieves 2, Pantera. Finally got around to it. The weather cleared up, so we were both able to make it to the theater this past week to see Den of Thieves 2. So we're excited to talk about that. We're also going to talk about some trailers and we're gonna do something that we thought of first, but got posted earlier by someone else. We're gonna do a heist movies draft. I had this idea about a week ago, and then of course Lights Camera Barstool beat us to it and posted it yesterday. But we're still gonna do ours. We think it could be a little fun thing, kind of going and looking at some of the best heist movies. So yeah, that's kind of what we got lined up for today. Landon, you want to say hello?
Yo, what's up? Episode 3.
Episode
Movies, man.
3.
Another movie to review. Yeah, the heist draft is going to be a lot of fun. There are a lot of good heist movies that sometimes you overlook or you kind of forget about, and you're like, oh yeah, that is a heist movie. So yeah, there's some good movies on there. Some awesome trailers to get to. So yeah, man, I'm excited for this episode for real.
Yeah, so we can jump right into the trailers. Definitely like one of the more anticipated trailers for me for the past couple of weeks. Like we all knew it was coming, just a matter of time when, and that's the Daredevil Born Again trailer. Um, I know you texted me like right after the trailer came out, you were like, dude, I think Marvel might be back. The show looks sick. Whole original cast returning, Charlie Cox, John Bernthal, Vincent D'Onofrio as Wilson Fisk, the other side characters. Um, Yeah, it's gonna be absolutely incredible. Um, and it looks like Marvel is going the very violent route with it. Um,
Oh,
you want to go outside?
yeah, basically to piggyback back off what Cole was saying, the trailer almost broke Twitter or X or whatever. It broke the internet. It was all over my feed. Everybody was posting it. And yeah, man, if you haven't watched the original series on Netflix, like all the series they did on Netflix, whether it be Luke Cage or Jessica Jones or
They're all awesome.
Daredevil or The Punisher. The Punisher is personally my favorite, but I know Daredevil is yours. Um, I just think that this is the perfect way back into it, right? Like we got Deadpool and Wolverine, it was a multiverse movie, and then they took a little bit of a break to recharge. So what is the best way to get people back invested? Grounded
We're getting
stories.
grounded stories. Yeah,
Captain America, who is not fighting a multiversal villain, he's fighting Red Hulk, the leader who has been we have seen before, and then Sidewinder, who is Giancarlo's uh character, and then you get Daredevil, which is in the streets of New York, and I think it is rumored that he's gonna be in the new Avengers, but play a small part, so he won't be a big part or anything. But yeah, Grounded, it's what
and then
makes
even
Netflix.
even the Thunderbolts coming out, like that's gonna be
Yeah,
a grounded movie as well.
I
So
was just about to get to that too. Like, there's no crazy like we it. Sentry is a very interesting character to see how they do in the MCU because he is actually very powerful if he gets to a certain side of him. But we'll talk about that, when that movie comes out. But yeah, man, I'm with you. This trailer is I expected so much. I expected very highly, but you always get nervous about the Disney Plus twist on it. Like, all right, are they going to screw this up,
are they
basically?
gonna hold true to, you know,
Right. And
what we liked?
yeah, I think this is going to be a good like they've been doing movie TV show release for the past couple of years, not last year specifically, but in the past. And I think this is a perfect Captain America, Daredevil, Thunderbolts is like, dude, that really is a perfect like lineup you could have.
Yeah. Marvel fans are about to be eating for the first chunk of the year. So you got Cap in February, and then this drops like first week of March, and it's gonna air for, however many weeks, 9 or 10 weeks up until May. Then Thunderbolts comes out, and then not even too long after that, we're getting Fantastic Four. So hopefully Marvel's kind of getting back in their groove, getting on the schedule that, we've come to expect from them after taking this break, which I think was very needed. But yeah, no, Daredevil looks sick. I mean, I'm pumped for everything Marvel coming out right now, but I think like this is what I'm most excited for. I freaking love Daredevil. I'm about to like before it comes out, I will rewatch the entire show. I think it's all on. They moved it over to Disney, so definitely gonna watch that. Might even if I have time watch The Punisher. But yeah, stoked for
I'm
that.
so glad.
I'm kind of curious to see like how they continue the story because it looks like it's basically a continuation. So
Yeah, very interesting. The whole, um, well, I'll say this first. John Bernthal as a Punisher is like one of my favorite. Like, I don't know why I love the casting so much. I just really think it's so good, and I'm so glad to see him back. I like John Bernthal in general. He's like a
he's
great
very
dude.
underrated.
He's a great dude too. Like in his interviews, so very interesting to see like Kingpin in like a government role, and them having that meeting. That is a perfect like way to open a
Like a
trailer.
diner. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's just I'm so excited that they kept they kept basically this whole same cast, and White Tiger and Muse as other villains that were they look Muse looks sick, man. Like I don't know much about him in the comics, but I did, you like look at pictures and kind of read a little backstory, and man, that it's supposed to be like not a face. It's supposed to be it looked really cool. I think he's gonna be a cool villain. Um, I don't know anything about White
And
Tiger.
Bullseye
Yeah,
back as
yeah.
well. He
He's
was he was really freaking good in season 3. He was sick.
So we'll see new villains, we'll see old villains, we'll see old people that we love, we'll see old heroes that'll come back. And that kind of gives you like when they do another season, like will we see Luke Cage again, will we see Jessica Jones
And
again?
this is already locked in for season 2.
So
Um so that's sick. And I'm hoping, there's been rumors, you can never really know what you believe, but I'm hoping this is really good and the Punisher like fans are super responsive to it and that it goes really well so that they do Punisher show or a movie even. I mean, you could do a Punisher movie with him and it would be sick.
yeah,
So,
I agree.
I really, really kind of hope that comes out of it. But yeah, man, that's like might be my most anticipated show of the year. I'm absolutely stoked for it. I'm excited to get around to that. We can do like weekly reviews of everything. So
Yeah, I'll be watching that weekly. Every week it comes out. I loved Daredevil. I loved Punisher. Um, I think that again, like when Marvel can do the grounded stuff, they're really good at it sometimes. I feel like when they tried to take the whole multiverse approach, you and I have talked about it, like they kind of just get in a little bit over their heads. But when they do the grounded stuff, they usually hit it right on the head. So yeah, I'm hoping that it's just as good as it's gonna be just as violent, so we don't have
looks
to worry
like it,
about
yeah.
that. We don't have to worry about that. Like there were a couple like scenes that they showed in the trailer where I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
that hurts.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely excited for that. I'm also very glad like they finally introduced um back last summer they introduced Deadpool to the MCU. That way we can kind of an opening to start doing more adult Marvel content, kind of like the gateway to finally start doing that in the MCU. So hopefully we start getting more stuff like this. I think some of the other series and stuff coming out are like planning to have a TVMA rating and maybe we'll get even more R-rated movies or something. So, really stoked for all that. But yeah, that's Daredevil Born Again. Like I said, when that comes around, we'll be talking about it every week. But until then, we just have to twiddle our thumbs and wait. So, but yeah, and so another trailer that dropped this week, that I think me and you both are kind of excited for. I didn't even know they were making it into a movie. Um, Until Dawn is getting a live action movie, and that trailer released this past week. I definitely have heard of the game before. It's on PlayStation, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
The PlayStation game. I've never played it. I don't really know the story that much, but I know it's a horror game and it's got a good following. And I know you probably know more about it. You were saying something about the story the other day, so I'll kind of let you dive into this. But right off the bat, like I think it looks really cool and kind of unique. I don't know if that has anything to do with the game, but the concept of the movie looks pretty cool.
Yeah, obviously I haven't seen the movie. The concept of the game for people who don't know, just really quick, like in the trailer it kind of shows that it's almost like a Groundhog Day type thing. Like when they die, they restart at midnight and they're supposed or restart the night and they're supposed to get until dawn. You know, but in the game, you play in as multiple characters, and every choice you make, every person you save or don't save, every dialogue counts, and it's really important to how an ending plays out in the game. And I forget the name of the developers that do that. They've done multiple games, and all the games are the same way. Every choice counts, right? You can go watch FaZe Jeff play it if you really want to. He's like the GOAT. He plays all of them. But I will say that the game is so like it was the first kind of I mean a lot of games have the style where every choice you make counts. I mean, it's very important to how you play the game. But this one, being a horror game, and the story was so intriguing, and it always left you on your heels. It was or on your toes. Very good jump scares. The story was insane, and you really cared for every character if you played that way. Raymond Malik was in it. Brenda Song, I believe, was in it. So there were some like good names. The same guy who's playing the therapist or played the therapist or the psychologist or whatever
Looks
in
like
the
he's
game.
in the trailer. I
Yeah,
saw
he's
that.
coming back for the movie. But yeah, the trailer looks very interesting. It's very different. They're bringing the Wendigos back, which was like a huge part of the game. So that was I'm glad to see that, and you see them in the game, and they're just terrifying. I think it's a great game. It has a very good following. People love that game, and yeah, man, you can play the game so many different ways. So I'm wondering if the movie is going to play into that. Like, if we're following different characters, they go through different times and different things that they're going through, and how they incorporated it going back to the beginning of the night is going to be very interesting. It looked very interesting, man. I'm going to go see it.
Yep.
Um, I think the game is incredible. And I know a lot of people think the same way, and there's no reason the movie can't be.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too. It looks like based off the trailer, like um they're gonna rely a lot on like practical effects and makeup instead of CGI. Like all of the different creatures and stuff like looked really good. Um and yeah, sometimes CG just takes all that out of it sometimes. So when it looks more real and gory, like
Yeah,
that's what makes a lot of horror movies great. So I'm hoping that's good. Probably some pretty wild deaths and stuff in that movie.
dude,
So
there were some crazy deaths. There were some like over the top deaths. There were some like crazy events that happened if you did certain things. Like I didn't watch all the endings, but the playthroughs I did watch, and um, like just because I didn't play the game doesn't mean I got the whole effect of the game because I like watching video games, especially with a good story. That one's a very good story, and if you want to go watch like the playthrough of the game because it looks like it's not going to be the same story. Like The Last of Us is basically you're getting the same story, right? But this one is not going to be the same story, but they are going to play some variables in the game that are also going to be in the or movie. I'm excited, man. I think it's going to be good. The
yeah,
Groundhog Day effect is cool.
yeah. Kind of getting. I mean, I think I said this on another podcast, or we were talking about it recently, or something. Kind of getting a lot of good stuff in the video game genre. I feel like just more and more stuff is coming out,
Thank
being
God.
adapted into movies and shows, and a lot of it's. I feel like maybe like in the past, you've gotten a horrible like Assassin's Creed movie and like
Not a
video
good
games
Mortal
movies just
Kombat.
Mortal Kombat, yeah. A lot of movies just didn't really work well, but um, then they kind of started taking the TV show approach with Last of Us, and then we got Fallout. I thought the Uncharted movie was a lot of fun too. I know a lot of Uncharted fans didn't just love it, but I mean I enjoyed it. And then this, finally getting like a good like horror game. I know Last of Us is kind of a horror game, but I feel like it's more of like an adventure game. So. Um, yeah, if this is good, maybe we keep seeing more video game stuff be adapted.
Yeah,
So
so just to like piggyback off that, I believe there has been rumors, or maybe there has been like for sure rumblings of a Shadow of the Colossus movie or series.
that
And
would be
oh
sick.
my dude, like what people
You'd
don't
have to
realize,
do you'd have to do a series for that, I feel
yeah,
like.
what people don't realize is like how much of an art, just as good of an art a video game can be as as opposed to a movie. Like you look at like the Red Dead Redemption 2 or God of War or games like that or Elden Ring that you have to put so many hours into the game. So it's not just watching a movie, you are playing through a story. And I think that goes overlooked sometimes. And now people are really starting to get the idea of like, all right, dude, this is a good story. Let's get it out there. Last of Us is a perfect example. Fallout is a perfect example where you can get in a universe, and Until Dawn is a perfect example where you can do something a little bit different and hopefully have success.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm definitely excited for that. I think that comes out. I think I saw it at the end of the trailer, like end of April. So yeah, that looks like it's going to be fun. Kind of getting a lot of good horror movies this year. And I feel like that trend started with last year. There were a lot of killer horror movies this year, um, or last year, and then that leads us into our next trailer, which is The Monkey, um, which is directed by Osgood Perkins. He did Long Legs last year, which was obviously like one of the most viral, crazy like horror movies to come out in recent memory, among all the other great horror movies that came out last year. But yeah, he's doing this movie, The Monkey, short story by Stephen King, who's like, the god of horror, I guess. Like, he's the legend. He's written all the books, all of the good horror movies, um, that based on books he's written. Like most of them are really good. So I'm very excited and curious about this. It looks like a trip. I've heard like it's very like kind of Final Destination vibes with just some absolutely insane deaths, and that's what it looks like too. I feel like it's going to be kind of funny too. Like it's going to be so out there that it's going to be kind of funny. So I'm very excited for it. Curious to see what weird deaths they can come up with, but they've been like really focusing on advertising like that it is a gross, gory, violent, disgusting movie, which I'm excited for. We don't get too much of that anymore, but
Yeah, I remember you had a long day at work the day it actually came out. So I texted you because we were texting back and forth about it. I just said it looks like a horror movie that's gonna have it's gonna have its scares, but you don't have to take it too seriously. I feel like sometimes those are good horror movies. Like you can have like funny comedy slasher type things, and I think this one's gonna be like it is so outrageous that it's funny, but the monkey looks absolutely terrifying. And if you saw that in your closet or in your room, you would freak out. And like you said, Stephen King is the godfather of horror writings. Like you can go down the list of what he's written with it and Shawshank Redemption he wrote, and he wrote
Pet Cemetery.
Pet Cemetery. He wrote the the Fog. Am I saying that? I don't know if that's the name of the actual book or whatever. But yeah, you could go on and on with Stephen King. But um yeah, dude, this one's gonna be I like this. I think it's gonna be fun. They know obviously in the trailer they know that it's a wild like kind of concept, and
They're
the
leaning into that.
look like the main characters are like, dude, the monkey that comes back to kill our family, yeah, he's back. He's just back.
It's
So
just like normal.
yeah. So yeah, I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be a little bit different. I think it's one that this is what I could see happening is where like the critics like absolutely despise it, but you and I go into it and we're like that movie was absolutely hilarious and it was a ton of fun to watch.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be like more funny than anything. Obviously, the monkey's like creepy, but I think it's gonna be one of those that's just kind of funny. And you're just gonna be like trying to guess like how these people are gonna die. It's kind of wild we're getting this year. I made the comp for Final Destination because we're getting another one of those too this year
Yeah.
for the first time in like a long time. And I actually love those movies. I think they're all a lot of fun. Um, they definitely had some pretty gnarly deaths. So uh, kind of curious to see how they can bring that back after such a long gap. But yeah, the monkey looks sick. Got some good horror stuff coming out this year, and I think that comes out relatively soon. So we'll be talking about that pretty soon.
Yep.
Um, so those are the biggest trailers I feel like of this past week. There were some other ones, but those are the ones we definitely wanted to talk about.
Oh, I'll
Um,
go just real quick because we have a little bit of time because the topics aren't as long today. But did you watch the Pixar trailer for the
I
show?
actually didn't. No,
Okay.
I never got around to that.
I'm gonna say this real quick. I love Pixar. you love Pixar. We have some of our best movie memories from Pixar. One of my favorite movies of all time is Pixar. Like the show just I can't explain it. Like it doesn't look like the animation doesn't look like Pixar. It kind of looks like thrown together. Um Obviously like you have to watch it, but it's like when I saw the trailer, usually when I see a trailer for a Pixar movie, I'm like, all right, I want to see that. This show is one of the ones from Pixar where I'm like, I don't care to see this at all. So, it'll be on Disney Plus. It's told from 8 different points of view, I think. So, and they're all like overlapping. I don't really know what the whole concept was, but not the greatest animate or not it doesn't look like a normal Pixar animation style. Looks a little bit more cartoony, which I feel like Pixar like they're so good at what they do. Why would they change it up? So, yeah, that was just real quick. I mean, there's nothing really I will probably watch it when it all comes out and the episodes will probably be like 20 minutes, so
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think. We've gotten a couple other Pixar shows. I haven't watched all of them. I did watch. I think I've watched all of Monsters at Work, and that show is actually pretty funny.
yep.
They did a Cars show, um, where it was just like a bunch of little stories with Lightning McQueen and Mater. That was actually a really good show too. And I know just recently that the Inside Out one came out. I have not watched that one yet though. So, but this is like their first original series. So,
Yeah, called Win or
I mean,
Lose, I think. Yep.
I imagine we'll both check it out. But yeah, I'm not like I didn't even watch the trailer. I'm not
Wouldn't be
necessarily that.
shocked. Wouldn't be shocked if I didn't get past the first episode.
Yeah, yeah. We'll just have to see. Um, and something else that happened this week that I wanted to touch on briefly. Um, the Severance marketing stunt in Grand Central Station in New York. Um, if you hadn't seen it on Twitter, they basically built like the office from the TV show Severance in the middle of Grand Central Station, like as an advertisement for the show season 2 coming out. And it was just there for like, a couple hours, empty. People were just taking pictures of it, and then out of nowhere, three or no, it was actually like four or five of them because like the manager was there as well, but um, three of like the main cast members and some of the supporting cast just pulled up in full character and sat in this box in their little office and just like hung out for a while. I don't even know how long they were there. I didn't really see that, but um, tons of people were there. Ben Stiller was even there because he's like the creator of the show. He was taking pictures and stuff, but like everything happening in there was, um, they were staying true to character. Um, it's absolutely sick. Severance has been absolutely killing it with their marketing. I've even gotten like because I'm subscribed to Apple TV. I got like an email from the company that they work for, from Lumen Industries, and it's like a really eerie email.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've been killing it. And to kind of piggyback off of that, super cool marketing stunt. Episode 1 of the new season came out, and I'm not gonna spoil it because I know at some point you do want to watch it. You need to freaking hurry up and watch it. But yeah, the new season picks up exactly the split second where the last season left off, or so you think. You kind of have to watch to understand what I mean by that. But picks up right where it left off, and um, you kind of figure out what's been going on. You get some questions answered, but then you get a lot more questions, and yeah, it's still killer. It's still so freaking good. The opening sequence, I don't know if you've even seen a clip of it on Twitter, is him like running through the hallways, and it's a one shot, it's a oneer, and it's him like running for like 3 minutes through the hallways, and it's so cool. It's so well shot. Um, but yeah, no. Episode 1 of season 2 of Severance was great. Super excited to keep watching that. Comes out like every Thursday or Friday, so you need to hurry up and freaking watch season 1. Um, so you can talk about it as well. But yeah, just kind of wanted to touch on Severance. Um,
Yeah, I'll just talk about the marketing thing real quick. This is your degree, so you are a pro. You were probably
Oh
just
yeah, I'm such a pro.
no, man, I think that's really cool. I think if you can incorporate somewhere where a lot of people are going to be and you can kind of give them a feel of they're not isolated, but like you can't like get in there and talk to them obviously, but you're like right there, you can see everything that's going on. Especially the actors who are playing in the show, like those big name guys. Um, like that's just
Like
so
they yeah, they could have done that with like just, like actors that nobody knew and people
yeah,
would have still thought it was sick.
yeah,
But the fact that they got the actual cast and
yeah.
they were staying in character was really cool.
Yeah, man. It's just stuff like that is like the little things in marketing that, especially for a show like that that has such a high like people
Following.
love that show. They think so highly of that show, and now you're gonna be like, all right, well, now we're gonna put it in the middle of Grand Central Station on a weekday where you know a lot of people are gonna be there. They're going to work and everything. That resonates with them, man. It's just yeah, that's sick, man. That's really, really cool.
So with that, we are going to get into our review for the week. Like I said at the beginning, we are going to be reviewing the new Den of Thieves movie, Den of Thieves 2 Pantera. Um, a movie that I've been excited for since I found out that it was coming out. Definitely like the first one ends in a spot where you kind of expect a sequel, but it had been like surprisingly a 7 year gap, which is wild to me. It's just crazy how much time flies because I remember going to watch that movie with my parents, and I was still in high school when that movie came out. So that's kind of nuts that it's been that long. But yeah, so we finally get a sequel. Gerard Butler and O'Shea Jackson return um, after the events of the first movie, which I know you've just watched for the first time, like within the last week.
Yeah.
Uh, so not as long of a wait for you, but um, I know you still enjoyed the movie nonetheless. So yeah, we can just jump right into it. I gotta say that I had a great time with the new Den of Thieves. The first one was a ton of fun. I love a good heist movie, kind of like grimy on the streets of LA, um, like cops and robber vibes. And then the movie closes out with a sick heist and a sick gunfight and a pretty big twist at the end as well, which is, everything you want in a heist movie. Very much kind of get the vibes of Heat, like a modern rendition of Heat, which I'm sure we'll talk about later during our draft.
It'll come back up.
Um, but yeah, so yeah, I was very very surprised by Den of Thieves one a couple years ago, and so I was very excited for this one, and I gotta say, like it met my expectations, if not exceeded them a little more. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous, like hearing that it was gonna have like a Europe backdrop, because I just think it worked so well on the streets of LA, and it seems like the kind of story that I don't necessarily need to see overseas. But they took the step to move it over there. They took a risk, and I think that it played just as well as the streets of LA did. Um, I will say where I think this one differs from the first one. I said the first one was kind of grimy, and more grounded. This felt like a more sleek, like not serious movie, but like I feel like the stakes were higher. Um, so that made it entertaining. And it was similar to the first one. It had a lot of build up. It's kind of like, okay, let's get this thing going. But then when this heist gets going, I think this heist is way better than the heist in the first one, um, which we can talk about. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed Den of Thieves. O'Shea Jackson Jr. and Gerard Butler, I think they shined in this one. They're kind of like buddy chemistry. Was really funny in points, and you could kind of feel it. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. Curious to hear what you think.
Yeah, I'm with you. I didn't when you told me, so I watched the first one, told you my thoughts, and you told me kind of what was like the premise of this one. Even though we knew at the end of the first one kind of where this one would be, we had an idea, kind of. Um, Uh, and I think I agree with you. The heist in this one is so much cooler than the first one. I think this one is so more ins and outs, has to be perfect. I agree with you, higher stakes, and they are, going into a place that is like world security. It's not just, the government of that nation. It's like everybody in the world is coming here to do this. And we'll get more in specific probably in a second. But like, yeah, man, I agree with you. The buddy vibes that you were getting from Donnie or Jean Jacques and what's Gerard Butler's character?
Big Nick.
Big Nick. Uh yeah. I enjoyed some scene. So like with the first one, and I told you this kind of like I don't think there were any scenes before the heist that I was just like, wow, what a scene. Like I don't care. I don't really care about these characters. Don't care about these like don't really care. Even like when they were explaining how they were getting in, like I was just like kind of okay, whatever. But this one, they didn't go in too much depth of like how it was going to get done, right? We kind of saw their inner workings of like, all right, the cameras are here. This is a blind spot. This changes every so often, but they didn't really give us the whole plan until like the end when we were watching it. That was when we were watching the plan unfold, and it really felt like everything they did was meticulous and it was perfect and it had to be perfect. I mean, dude, like I just love the heist movies where you're like, we have this much time, we have to be in this room, we have 90 seconds. If it's over 90 seconds, we are like screwed. Like we're gonna be toast. They're counting on their clock, like they got their watches going, they're talking back and forth to somebody who's watching the cameras. I just think it's so dope to see a heist like that as opposed to like I do think the heist in the first one is good. I think this one is better. I had more fun with this movie. There were more. I don't think the characters are like completely fleshed out, but I do think they more are fleshed out in this movie because we're not worried about the heist team as a whole. We're worried about Jean Jacques and we're worried about Big Nick. That's it. And we knew the other three people that were going to be in the heist probably weren't going to be a big deal at the end. Like they were just there kind of to get paid. But yeah, I'm with you, man. I think this one was more fun. I think the backdrop was cool. I think the ending after kind of the heist was going on, I think that was a couple twists where we were like, "Oh God, what?" And yeah, you brought up the scene where they got pushed in the water towards the middle of the movie, and that was a funny scene. Really enjoyed that.
Yeah. No, when they were tripping balls at the party, I think they were literally like all did ecstasy or something, and they were just tripping all night long. That was so funny.
Indeed.
Um, really, really funny. Um, and like you said, that I kind of agree with you in the first one a little bit, where it is kind of like you don't get much out of the characters before the heist, but I feel like in this one you definitely did, kinda.
The only argument for like not doing that in the first movie is because I guess when you see the movie for the first time, you're thinking that all of these characters are important. Now that we've seen both, like they don't matter because we know who
Yeah.
the mastermind is at the end.
Yeah. And then you finally get a little bit of a backstory for Donnie,
Yeah.
why he does it and why he's so good at it, which I thought was a cool little thing that he talked about. And then Gerard Butler, Big Nick, talked about like, why he wanted to be a cop. So I thought that was a cool moment they shared. And yeah, their chemistry was definitely a lot better. And
Yeah,
him,
absolutely.
uh, him getting to be a part of the heist was a good twist.
Yeah.
Um, Briefly on the heist, I wanted to say I mentioned it to you, but I love how the heist had like minimal dialogue. There was no dial like hardly any dialogue. Very, very like if there was, it was whispers. And there was I don't know if you really noticed, but for most of it there was no score
Right.
at all. You could just hear every movement they were making, and I think that was a great choice by the director to kind of show like you know, how quiet they had to be and everything. You could literally like hear a pin drop in my theater. Everyone's like,
Yeah.
you know, locked in. So I thought that was a super cool choice. Something I feel like I haven't really seen in a whole bunch of other heist movies. But yeah, no, I thought that was sick. And then similar to how we got the sick gunfight scene after the heist in the first one, we got a really exciting and fun car chase scene and kind of car shootout scene. That car shootout scene was sick. In
Yep.
the tunnel when it starts in the tunnel,
Yep.
um, and they're hanging out the windows and stuff, bro. it was so freaking cool. And then they get out onto like the mountainside and they're drifting around and still shooting at each other.
Yeah.
I thought that was sick. They definitely did a good job with that. Um, and then, like you said, it kind of had some twists as well. I had a feeling watching the movie about Gerard Butler. So, spoiler if you haven't seen it, he actually double crosses Donnie and arrests him at the end of the heist, which I kind of saw coming, but
There were a couple comments made throughout the movie where you were like,
kind of hinted at it.
yeah,
But um, yeah, so that happens. But then there's a twist after that where Gerard Butler kind of has like a he you could tell he's gotten attached to Donnie, and so he figures out a way to basically get him back out of prison um, after he is arrested. So maybe Gerard Butler does like kind of similar to Paul Walker in the Fast and Furious movies. The cop gone dirty.
yep,
That's the kind of vibes I'm getting from Gerard Butler. Like he's grown attached to these people. He kind of likes the lifestyle and the excitement of it.
yeah,
And I think he kind of wants to, really jump into it. And I think that kind of hints at it at the end of the movie, when he basically helps Donnie get out of prison with I guess, the mob boss or whatever.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, and then that ending kind of sets up a next one, which I think is pretty exciting. Similar to how the last one kind of ended on a note where you're like, okay, I can see this story going forward. You got that with this one as well. So very, very cool.
Yeah, and remember in when they were actually in the safe, they were looking for the one stone and the pink one with the GPS tracker, which we saw at the beginning. And we were like, or I was sitting there, I was like, okay, like Donnie is so meticulous, right? Why does he need this stone? Like, look at all the money he's already gotten. And I kind of had forgot the whole arc of I need my stone back, but we never see them actually make the deal of like we never see it in the movie besides them being on the boat, when they got thrown into the water. So we never see the deal between Donnie, Nick, and the mob boss about, oh, when we give you back the diamond, here's what we need from you, right? And at the end where they kill the two guys that are walking towards the car, and then they have the new car for them, and then those are eventually the guys who break Donnie and I guess the rest of the crew out of the jail because at the end he said all the tigers are out of the cage or all the cats are out of the cage. Um, so it was very cool to see that. I think that was like not like a oh my gosh, but hey, that's pretty cool. Like they're gonna stay in touch, and they obviously think Donnie is like a genius because he did rob the World Diamond Center, and they thought it was impenetrable. And I just always like the movies that somebody does something because it's a challenge. Like they want to do it. I like that. And I like that Donnie's reason is like not because I want the money, not because I want that. It's
Just like the
because,
thrill of it.
yeah, I want to know I can do it. And I just think it's cool. I always like that. Like they're not really after the money because if like if they didn't have to have the money, they would just go in, break in, and leave. But obviously, you gotta have multiple people, and you gotta pay them. But like, he would just go in and be like, "Look, I broke into your vault. Deal with it. No, I'm just gonna leave because I can." And he's cool like that. He's a cool character. Yeah, the heist is sick. The only thing I have on the heist itself and the gunfight after every other movie, it seems like the protagonist and everybody has unlimited ammo. Does it not feel like they don't have any ammo in this movie? They shoot like 10 times and then they're like, new mag. And I'm like, you just said there were 30 bullets in that mag. You did not shoot 30 times.
I don't know. I'm not paying attention to that much to
I
it.
always pay attention to that. Because like some movies you'll have where like they can just shoot forever. Not this squad. They have to
Hey,
reload like 30 times.
I guess they're just bad shots, man. They're robbers. They're not shooters.
I guess so.
But yeah. And I think like we both said, it ends on a note where, Donnie's basically it kind of sounds like he's gonna be a slave, sort of. Not a slave, but you know what I mean. He's gonna be the guy, working for the mafia. He's kind of stuck there after, they broke him out of jail, so like you're working for us now, and there's not really anything you can do about it. So kind of curious to see how that plays out if they do a third one. I hope they come out with a third one. I think it could be a cool story, kind of get get Big Nick back in it, where he fully turns, and then they kind of figure out a way maybe to get out from under the mob boss.
Yeah.
Obviously, hopefully, another sick heist. So I kind of feel like literally the first thing I thought when I walked out of this movie is like I'm kind of getting like early Fast and Furious vibes where I can just see this continuing. Not like I don't think it's gonna get that
We
ridiculous,
we
but I
don't
can
need
see
10 movies.
I no, but I'm saying I could see this continuing for a while and then progressively just getting like more ridiculous.
Yeah.
They were mostly both this one and the last one were
These
more
both
grounded.
felt like they could actually have like
Actually happened. Yeah, they were more grounded. But I do. That's how the Fast and Furious movies were too. But it just kind of feels like it's going in a way that they're introducing more characters and adding more stakes. And I even made the comp to Big Nick being like Brian O'Connor. Um, yeah. So obviously it's not going to get. I don't think it's going to get to as ridiculous as Fast and Furious. But I'm just kind of getting that vibe from it, which is cool. So yeah, hopefully they do another one. I think O'Shea Jackson Jr. is a great actor. He still hadn't been in too much stuff, but he's kind of coming into his own, and it's kind of ridiculous how much he looks like his dad.
yeah, dude.
Yeah, but I mean, he was really good. Obviously, Gerard Butler is like he's been doing it a lot longer than O'Shea Jackson. So yeah, they both did good. I definitely very much enjoyed it. I honestly don't know which one I enjoy more. There's parts of one that I like more than the other. Um, but I did give this movie 3.5 stars on Letterboxd, and I wrote down 7.4.
Okay.
It's right on the edge of a 4 star for me because if anything is a 7.5, it rounds up to four
Right.
stars. So
Hmm.
it's right there to almost being 4 stars for me. Um, I think it did really well in a lot of spots. I think what would have made it a step better for me is maybe um a better like I think you need more of a supporting cast instead of just making them to the focus. Um Obviously like that woman was like kind of the boss of the other people they were working with. But I feel like we could have had maybe a couple more little side characters, just like in Fast and Furious. You got the two Mexican guys that don't speak English. You got Roman Pierce, played by Tyrese. You got Ludacris. You got so many different like characters that you also care about, and I think that is something that this movie kind of lacked a little bit. I feel like you had more characters in the first one than you really did in this one. Um, but that's just my opinion, but still doesn't take away from the movie. Still really, really good movie. So, yeah, I'm gonna set with a 7.4.
I gave it. I think I gave it three or three. I think I gave it 3.5 stars, which would be a seven. Obviously, I'm with you. It would round up. I don't think it's a seven. I think it's a little bit lower on my. I agree with you. I think the if you had strong supporting characters, I think this movie could be a lot more fun. Like they try to make the French cop like you try to like him, but there's not enough there for you to really like him. The only thing they have in common is that they're both divorced and barely get to see their kids. Like, okay, that's cool, but like, and then agree with you, like the for the first, first fourth or third or fourth of the movie, like you get those two brothers that are together and one's the ex or whatever, and then you know that they're gearing up to like what they want the stuff from the heist, but we don't know anything about them besides like they're an ex, right? So I think those two characters are like pointless kinda. And then you don't really care for the girl, like he dances with her on the rooftop and that's it. Like, and then she's in the whole thing. But yeah, I'm with you. I would probably I think I wrote down a 6.8 is what I wrote down. Just below a seven. I would definitely
Um,
round it up to like on Letterboxd it'd be 3.5.
yep.
There's just you when we talked about the first one, I said I think the first one for me has like 2.5 stars on Letterboxd. Like I think that if it would be lower if the final 45 minutes didn't exist. Like I didn't care for anything before that. But this one's a little bit better in the keeping the preparation like out of it a little bit. Like we know they're trying to get some stuff and not um everything. And then again, the supporting cast, I agree with you. I think it should be we should have a little bit more fun characters. I mean, it really is two characters. Nobody else really matters in the whole grand scheme of things. But like O'Shea said, he's always in control of his environment. So
Yeah. So what's that? 7.4 for me. You said 6.8 for you.
mhm.
I think both of those are, completely fair scores. It's not just like the greatest heist movie ever,
Yeah,
but it's a lot of fun, and I think literally anybody can go in and have a fun
yeah,
time with this movie. You're gonna laugh.
yeah.
Got some cool action. It's got some kind of twists and turns. It's not perfect, but it's fun.
Hey, entertaining for sure.
It's a good like early release of the year. Usually
Yeah,
January and February are kind of like they don't. A lot of movies don't come out.
agreed.
Uh,
I'm
yeah.
with you.
Shout out Den of Thieves 2. Kind of excited to see where they take it. Hopefully, it's not as long of a gap until the next one.
No,
So,
we'll see.
so to piggyback off that review, I had an idea, completely my idea, not some other podcast idea. We're gonna do a draft of um, our favorite heist movies. We're gonna do five each. And I thought it was fair since I gave you first pick on the last draft. I will take first pick on this draft. Uh,
I'm curious. I'm curious to see where you go with
Yeah,
this.
no, you could go a lot of different routes with this.
Agreed.
We might have to have some conversations about like what's considered a heist movie and what's not. I think if a movie has a heist in it and it's kind of an important part of the movie, I think it's a heist movie. And there's
Agreed.
maybe not all these movies when you think of it right off the bat is a heist movie. Um,
Agreed.
but I think there's more than like you're thinking of. So I got my list up next to me.
This is a snake draft, correct?
Yeah, this is
All right.
snake draft, so I'll get first. And I think I would just be a complete idiot to not take this at one. I think it is probably the greatest heist movie of all time, and um, its sequels weren't necessarily as good. They were still a lot of fun, but not near as good as the first one, and that is Ocean's 11. Um, I
Good
think
pick.
that is, I think
Great
that is
pick.
honestly the greatest heist movie of all time. I actually rewatched it for the first time in like a long time, a couple months ago, and it still holds up. Such a good cast. You got George Clooney, Brad Pitt, and Matt Damon when they're all like kind of young. Julia Roberts, Bernie Mac.
Yep.
I think Jet Li's in that one. Just a great cast, man, and robbing a casino like that's like the coolest thing ever. They're not robbing a bank or anything, they're robbing a freaking casino. Um, so yeah, I don't think anything's ever really going to top that. I'd be very, very shocked. I think it's a clear number one pick. Obviously, I feel like I might know what your first pick might be, but um, there was really only one of two ways I think you could go with a first pick here, and I think Ocean's 11 is definitely like an S tier heist movie. So um,
Good
yeah,
pick.
shout out Ocean's 11. I think they're doing another one. I think they're making another one finally with a lot of the original cast. So we'll kind of have to see about that. I know they did the remake with the women, and it was all right, but it didn't
I,
have
I actually I actually like the one with like Rihanna,
Anne
Kate
Hathaway.
Blanchett,
Yeah.
Sandra Bullock. I like that one. Not as much as Ocean's 11, obviously. I still think it's good though. I'm not gonna have it on my list unless you like take all of mine. So, um,
Ocean's 11 with pick number one is absolute classic, and curious to see if they do a remake. We'll have to see.
you said it perfectly. It is a classic first pick. You cannot go wrong with that one. Iconic, and like you said, it is so cool robbing a casino. You know how
Yeah,
many times I've wanted to rob a casino? They
they
rob me
they rob us.
every time I walk in there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, you said it. Well, actually, I don't know what you think I'm gonna go. I think you think that I'm gonna pick. I think this movie is so like it basically changed the whole like pacing of a franchise. Really, is what it did. I'm gonna go with Fast Five. I think that one.
you son of a bitch.
I think it is just so good, man. It's my favorite Fast movie. It is your favorite Fast movie, I think. Is that correct?
I'm upset. I didn't think you were actually going to
What do
take
you
that
think I was gonna
early.
go? Well, then you might.
I'm not gonna tell you until I take my next pick. So
I actually have an unorthodox one for the next one. I was gonna do
no,
it first, but yeah,
but Fast
Fast
Five,
Five.
yeah, no, dude, it's the best Fast and Furious movies. I was hoping that would drop down to me for my second pick. Um,
We
like you
talk
said, yeah,
we
it
talk about
it,
it all
it
the
kind of
time.
kickstarts, it re-kickstarts the franchise.
Really does. You can only do so many racing movies with the same people, so why not do a big heist and add The Rock to your franchise? It is a ton of fun. I mean, I think it is some of the best, like not only effects, but like the stuff they do in the cars is some of the coolest. Where they're literally dragging a gigantic safe across a bridge, and it's
Through
just
Rio,
beautiful looking, and it is so cool. I mean, dude, how can I not pick it? It is very, very cool. And like I said, like it redefined Fast and Furious. Like you look at the first four, right? And it's mostly just like racing. It's a lot of racing. It's family, right? Now you're really in the family because now you're just robbing people. And now you're going to outer space in cars. You're blowing up tanks. Like you're leaving a cliffhanger on the 10th movie in the franchise. Like it's just it never ends with this franchise. But five was actually good. I think it is the best one personally.
no,
But yeah,
100%.
the
Great,
next
great pick.
one, because we're doing a snake, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm I was actually not gonna pick this here, but like I do think about this movie a lot. And do we count it as a heist movie? I guess. This has one of the coolest soundtracks I've ever heard. Um Are you serious? There's no way. This is one of the coolest soundtracks I've ever heard. It is a great premise, and the cast is unbelievable. And how cool is it to watch your heist driver put his headphones in and become the best driver in the world? It is Baby Driver.
Oh, that is not what I was thinking there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so would you count this as a heist movie?
Yes.
Okay.
I
Uh,
haven't seen it in a long time, but yes.
the soundtrack is incredible. Angela Elgort, Kevin Spacey, John Bernthal's in it. Lily James, I think, is in it as well. This is a stat cast. It is a fun concept because he's there to do one thing, and it's drive.
Yeah.
And they're all going through their names. What's your name, baby? Like it's just come on, man. Like it is a fun movie too. I think the driving is like it's not Fast and Furious level or anything, but it is like more street and like we were talking about the after effects in Den of Thieves 2 of how real that like driving scene. Yeah, man, I love Baby Driver. I think it's very fun. I actually have not seen it like a lot of times. I think I've seen it two or three times. And
Uh,
again, like just a good like it's not all about a heist because I think there's multiple in the movie. But yeah, he's awesome. And the soundtrack's awesome. So
yeah. No, great pick. That really has a great soundtrack. So for my next pick, well, no, not this pick. I'm gonna go back. But so this is the pick I thought you were gonna like clear go number one,
okay,
for your first pick. And I think it is like Ocean's 11 one, and this movie's too. So I'm kind of wild it dropped to me, but I think that's Heat.
yeah,
Heat
yeah. So
with De Niro and Pacino. That's like the first like big heist movie. I mean, I can really think of. I think it came out in like the 80s or 90s when they
fun
were still kind of
fact,
they were still kind of young. What's
I've
up?
seen that movie one time. That's
I
it.
watched it. I watched it for the first time about a year or two ago.
Now it was probably about I think I was just got to college, so yeah. When
Maybe.
I watch it.
But yeah, I think if you don't have Heat, you don't have a lot of these other movies. And like I said, um, with our movie review of Den of Thieves, like I very much get Heat vibes from this. It's very much, the main cop against the main robber,
Mhm.
um, awesome shootouts and stuff, but you still got a cool heist in there. What year did Heat come out? I'm kind of curious. Let's see. And they actually are making a sequel, I think, with Adam Driver. Same director,
Oh,
but
really?
yeah, it's rumored anyways. Adam
Interesting.
Driver, a couple other people. Oh yeah, it has Val Kilmer as well. Yep, that's correct. Came out in '95, so yeah, love Heat. I don't think a lot of awesome heist movies would exist without it. So I think you have to take it early here. Um, yeah, I kind of want to rewatch it. It's been a couple years since I watched it, but I remember absolutely loving it when I did. Um, so yeah, my next pick, this is what I thought you were gonna say when you said soundtrack, but I was kind of incorrect in thinking that because I'm thinking more of a score,
Okay.
not a soundtrack. This is one of my favorite scores for a movie. And you might not, a lot of people might not think of this as a heist movie when they think of it, but there is a heist in the movie. It's just a different kind of heist, and that is Inception.
It's a good pick.
That is
Not even
Inception.
gonna argue.
Um,
You took my next pick, so
yeah, yeah. Inception, it is not your typical heist. It is a mind heist. It is Christopher Nolan just jumping deep into his bag and coming up with one of the coolest concepts that you could come up with. And it's not a heist in the fact, and like they're not taking anything.
mhm.
They're trying to put something
Right,
somewhere. They're
right.
trying to put this thought into this guy's head, Cillian Murphy's head. Not to mention an unbelievable cast,
Hmm.
unbelievable score. It's kind of crazy. Like the fifth build move person in that movie is like freaking Tom Hardy.
Yeah,
Like you got
yeah.
so many good people. Um, I actually haven't seen it in a couple years, but every time I watch it, I remember like how much I love it. I think it kind of gets forgotten a lot for some reason when you talk about Nolan movies. Everyone always thinks Interstellar, Dark Knight, and then more recently Oppenheimer. And I think Inception is probably a top three of his. Absolutely love it. Then, like I said, absolutely unbelievable score by Hans Zimmer. Um, the blah, uh,
I
but
mean,
yeah, no, I absolutely love Inception. It's not, like I said, it's not necessarily like a heist. I feel like a lot of people wouldn't think it is, but
right.
when you kind of like break it down, like that's essentially what it is.
You're
They
right.
get a team together, they all have different skill sets, and yeah, it's just a heist in the mind instead of like a heist of a bank. So yeah, had to go Inception.
That's a pretty good pick. That was gonna be my next one because I thought you were gonna go Heat and then go somewhere else. I, I think you're saving the ones that I think you're gonna pick for last because you know I won't pick them. Which is a smart play. It's a smart play. So this one, I'm actually curious to see your thoughts on this. So I'm gonna do it early just to see what you think. There is a movie that I think is one of my favorites in like a universe. And it's not a lot of people when you think of the universe are not going to pick this movie to be like their favorite, right? Now, if you think about the concept of the movie and how it plays in, they are doing one thing. They are trying to steal plans for a certain death machine to send to a rebellion. And Rogue One is absolutely a heist movie. It has a just fantastic story. You have one of the coolest characters that we now have a TV show for. We have one of the coolest Star Wars fight scenes at the end of this movie. And you cannot tell me at the end of this movie when Darth Vader shows up that you didn't jump out of your seat. You'd be lying if you said that. I think Rogue One is a heist movie. I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
I mean, yeah. Uh Yeah, I guess it is. I had no idea where you were going with that. I mean, but yeah, it is essentially, they're trying to get the plans. And yeah, I mean, even though you already know like what's gonna happen because of, the original movies, like it's still a lot of fun. I definitely would not think heist movie there, but like when I think about it now, yeah, it definitely kind of is.
I
Wild
wanted
pick. I did not really see you going that way, but the Rogue One is insanely slept on. I love that movie.
Yeah, so I wanted to just see your take on it because I do think like when you think about the movie and like what the concept is like they're going to a planet and there's one thing that they're trying to get there and they're trying to give it to somebody else. They're trying to steal it, and I think it is a heist movie at its core. Now, you could definitely argue because it's a Star Wars movie and we know what's going to happen, like how, but like at the end of the day, they did steal something from somebody, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, no, good pick. That is definitely not something that I saw coming from you. But yeah, no, that's a good pick.
Now this one you might not agree with like the pick here, and you might not even like the movie. This is kind of a home hit movie for me. The amount of times that me and my dad have watched this movie, we talked about it already. There's the acting is not even good. It is just a lot of fun. It's got Keanu Reeves. It's got Swayze. I love the Point Break. I really do. I think the acting is comically like bad at some points, but it actually is an enjoyable movie. The whole uh they're robbing the banks with the president's mask, which is like an iconic thing in movies, and it is just I just think it's a fun concept because he is the cop who's trying to get in with them, and he's got to do all this crazy stuff. And the final scene where he's throwing him out of the helicopter, he's got to jump, and I just think it's a really good movie. And Patrick Swayze's character is not going down without a fight. It's almost like Den of Thieves, like at the end, like he's not getting arrested. He's going to die if he like he'd rather die than get caught. I guess you know what I'm trying to say. I think it's a fun movie. Me and my dad love this movie. We have seen it a billion times, and we laugh at it. We enjoy it, and I think it is a classic movie. People might not even think it's a good movie. I think it's a fun movie, and I love Point Break.
No, good pick. I haven't seen Point Break in ages. Like I haven't even seen it since the remake came out, and the remake came out when we were in like middle school or high school. I
Dude,
haven't
I
seen
didn't
the
even
movie
know
since I was definitely younger.
I didn't even know there was a reboot because I watched the original. That's
Yeah.
like,
No, the original is great. You said you watch it a ton. I haven't even really watched it that many times, maybe like twice ever. But yeah, no, great movie. Definitely a heist movie. Kind of when Keanu and Swayze were like, the dudes. They were coming up. They were young
right,
still. So yeah, no, classic movie. Yeah, it might be a little silly, but it's a lot of fun. And I feel like a lot of heist movies are silly. Like
yeah,
you can't take them too seriously.
yep,
So. Yeah, good pick. I've been sitting here racking my brain and trying to figure out what I want to do.
yeah.
Uh,
Because you have your final two right now.
Final two, yeah, I'm picking
Okay,
my final two right here, and I'll probably we can talk about some honorable mentions too. But
yeah.
um, now this is one that I thought about today that I'm curious to see if you think it is considered a heist movie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Came out a while ago. I know you've probably seen it a million times. I've seen it a million times. I actually rewatched it over Christmas break because it was on TV. Um, Not necessarily a heist movie, but its most famous scene in the movie is a heist
I
where
think
they steal the Declaration of Independence. I'm gonna go with National Treasure.
that
Uh,
is an outstanding. Didn't even think about it.
yeah,
That's
no, I didn't
outstanding.
think about it till earlier. Um, Yeah, National Treasure. Not necessarily. It's probably when you think of it, it's more of like an action adventure movie, but it is like undoubtedly that part of the movie is a heist movie, and that's the most famous scene in the movie. That's the scene
Absolutely.
that always gets quoted, the one that people talk about.
Yep.
Um, yeah, give me Nick Cage and National Treasure still in the Declaration of Independence.
I don't
Absolutely love
care.
that movie. Like I said, I rewatched it, and I watched both of them actually, the first one and the second one over Christmas break, and I really freaking want them to make another. I know it's been in the talks and it's been confirmed and then denied and confirmed and denied. And Nick Cage was coming back, and then they said he wasn't, and then he said he was. I need them to just freaking make a third one because the second one kind of ends on a cliffhanger. We still don't
Yep.
know. It's been a long time, but yeah, no, National Treasure I think is unique, but you would you consider that to be fair in this list?
Oh, absolutely. First of all, I don't think the critics love that movie, but that's where we talk about where that movie is so fun. I don't care. And me and you love history, so like seeing them like have to go to these different places. Nicolas Cage is like so so fun in that movie. I love National Treasure. I still watch it. I'm not as big on the second one. I do love the first one though.
Yeah, I think they're both great. The first one's definitely better, but I mean they're both good movies. But Yeah, yeah. I'm very happy with that pick. And now here I am closing out my list. So,
Right.
man, there's a lot of good ones here. I feel like this might be cheating.
Oh, great.
No, it's not cheating. This is just me using my big brain. This is probably another one you didn't think of. Clearly, not a heist movie when you think about it, but I think a subgenre of this movie is a heist movie. And it's not a heist. It's not a normal heist. They don't steal from a bank. They don't steal diamonds. They steal infinity stones.
I don't know if I'm
Avengers
aligned with this one.
Avengers Endgame is a heist movie. It is a time heist, okay? It's not your typical heist. They
Shit,
have a
it says
team.
it in the movie. You're right.
They literally do. Yeah. I mean, that's the
You're right.
whole
Paul Rudd
middle
says
part of
it.
the movie. The movie doesn't happen without the time heist. Um, yeah, you're getting the team back together. You're making a plan. That's what you do in a heist movie. You get everybody together, you make a plan, and then you go do it. And they all went and did it. They all went and did their respective, like, getting their stones. And while it's not necessarily like, juking out cameras and sensors and things like that, they're dealing with other stuff. But I think it's kind of a loophole where you can consider it a heist movie. Um, yeah. What do you think about that? Is that fair? I feel like, if you went Rogue One, like I feel like I can go in game here, you know? It's a sick, like, the heist is sick. Like the time heist is so cool. They go back to all the scenes in the past movies and stuff, and they're trying to get all the Infinity Stones and then get back. And
Look,
not everybody makes it back.
I'll
So,
let you have it just because he says it's a time heist in the movie. That's fair.
okay.
I mean, what am I supposed to say about that?
All right. Thank you. Thank you for letting me have that.
So I'll let you
I
have it.
knew that would be controversial, but it's a
That's a
time
good
heist.
pick though.
So I went so three. I feel like three of mine you wouldn't necessarily think, heist when you think of it. Inception, National Treasure, and Endgame, but they all have heists that are huge parts of the movie, which I
Yeah.
think kind of classifies a movie as a heist movie. So yeah, so that is my list. I'm curious to see what your last pick's gonna be. You can go a lot of different ways here.
Yeah, I thought of two like right off the bat. Um I did a homer pick with Point Break, I feel like. But I really do I'm just gonna do it because I do like the movie and I like the concept. I love the cast. And I'm gonna go with man. Hold on. I gotta make sure I want this to be my pick. I think I want it to be my pick. I
I
do
think I
like
know
it.
where you're going.
Huh?
I think I know where you're going.
I don't think you do.
All right, go.
But look, they steal from banks, and every time they do a show, they're stealing from big banks. And when you have Jesse Eisenberg and you have Woody Harrelson, you have Mark Ruffalo, I think Now You See Me is a great heist movie.
No, that's what I thought you were gonna go. Yeah.
Oh, well,
Had I
perfect.
not taken Endgame, that was gonna be my pick.
I like the magic aspect. I actually don't like the second one, personally. I like the first one, and I just think it's very cool how they incorporate the magic, like the close up magic, and just like regular people, like, oh, they're doing all these magic shows, but we're actually stealing from the banks that, but like some parts of the movie, they're giving it back to the people, right?
Yeah,
So,
they're not
um,
using it themselves.
yeah, and I think they do a good job of like showing the background and then like showing like how they can mess it up and then finding out who's actually a part of
Yeah,
the
no, that's a wild twist back like
yeah,
when that movie first came out and that's revealed at the end of the first one that it was like Ruffalo all along.
yeah.
Like, wild twist the first time you see it.
So I think it's a fun movie and I will definitely I think I don't love the second one. I'm not gonna say I hate it. I do watch the second one. I just do really have like for the first one, the first movie that's coming out and the way they did it, very, very cool. And I think they're coming out with a third one.
Yes, they are. It comes out this year.
So
I actually have my list right here. When does that come out? November
yeah.
14th,
So
1970.
I will definitely be going to see that because
Yeah,
I
I'm
love the first
excited.
one. And
I agree. I agree with you. The second one is definitely a step down. I will say I think the second one might have like the coolest scene out of both movies though, when that scene where they're tossing the card,
yeah, and the
everywhere
bottom,
around.
like the ball
Yeah,
area, yeah,
I love that scene where
cool scene.
they keep juking out the card. But
Mhm.
yeah, no, it's definitely a step down. But I'm excited for a third one if they're bringing back like the whole original cast. So yeah, no, great pick. That's if had I not taken in game, that would have been my next pick.
Yeah,
But I had to go a little controversial here, you know. So
I like it. I took one controversial. You took one controversial.
yeah.
Fair.
All right. Well, I think that is a pretty fair draft. I kind of wanted to just talk about just briefly some honorable mentions that didn't make it that I had on my list, and
Hold
then you.
on. Can I stop you? Can I stop you for a second? I You didn't pick one Mission Impossible movie,
That was on my honorable mentions.
but you love those.
I do.
Huh.
I do. So yeah, that's my one of my first honorable mentions is the first Mission Impossible. They're not all necessarily heist movies. I think you could also you haven't seen it because you're a loser, but I think Rogue Nation is kind of a heist movie. Like they have a freaking awesome heist, and it's the one where he's like underwater. Um, very intense. But the first one is like one of the most famous scenes in the history of movies. Um, when he's hanging from the ceiling in that room, that white room, trying to, I can't even remember what he was like trying to get, like a flash drive or something, download some stuff up. But, then his string drops and he gets right there and then the sweat's dripping and, you know, Mission Impossible 1 is 100% a heist movie. I wouldn't necessarily say a lot of the other ones are. There are some heists in them, but yeah,
Yeah,
the first one for sure. Um, reason I didn't take it is because I like a lot of the newer Mission Impossibles better than the first one,
fair.
but still a great movie. Love it. Another one that I'm surprised kind of didn't get taken was Logan Lucky. More of a comedy heist
Mm.
movie, but great cast. You got Channing Tatum, Daniel Craig, Adam Driver with one arm. Really funny movie. Actually, they just put it back on Netflix not too long ago. I kind of want to go rewatch it, but love Logan Lucky. Obviously, we reviewed Den of Thieves. Both of those are pretty solid heists. And then the last one that I did not pick was Gone in 60 Seconds with Nick Cage.
Okay.
That's a car heist movie. So
Hey, you got your Nicolas Cage in though.
yeah, no, I got my Nick Cage in. So yeah,
One,
did you have any?
one that I thought of off the bat is an absolutely stupid movie. It's not even like it's so dumb, but it makes me cry laughing when they're taking the freaking pictures on the swing. It's freaking Galifianakis and what's her name and
Masterminds.
Masterminds. Oh, it's so
Such
funny.
a funny movie,
It's
bro.
so stupid, but it is so funny.
And that's
Um,
a true story too.
yeah. Um, they do Loomis Fargo, right? They robbed the Loomis Fargo. Um, and then another one that came to mind is another like driving movie with Ryan Gosling, just
Drive.
Drive, yeah. I'd only seen it once, so I wasn't gonna like pick it because I'd
I've
only
only
seen it
seen it once
once.
too, but yeah, good movie.
But yeah, that one came to mind as well. Um, trying to think. I can't think. I mean, I'm sure if I thought harder, like I would be able to bring up like kind of movies you kind of forget about, like National Treasure or Rogue One or Endgame or stuff like that. So, um, but yeah, I mean, you can find a way to loophole a heist movie into something.
Yeah.
If they steal something, it's a heist movie.
Yep. Yep. So that rounds out our draft for heist movies. I'll quickly recap. So I went with Ocean's 11, Heat, Inception, National Treasure, and Avengers Endgame. Maybe a controversial pick, but whatever. We can let it slide. And then you went with, still mad I didn't get it, but you went with Fast Five, Baby Driver, Rogue One, the original Point Break, and the first Now You See Me.
Those are
Um,
two really good lists. I feel
I
like.
think both of those are great lists. I can tell that each of us kind of went into it with a different like plan and mindset,
Yeah,
but they're both still great lists. Got a lot of different movies here, but in the end, like when you break it down, like they are all considered a heist movie. So,
Absolutely.
it was kind of fun thinking about this and Googling like movies and being like, oh, I didn't really think of it that way. But
Yeah,
uh,
even if you go through like the ones like how we rank our movies every year and just going through and being like, wait, this could be one or this could be
hmm,
one or this could be one. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, no, another good draft. And that will round out our episode. Yeah, I'm not sure what our next review will be. We'll figure it out. Maybe Wolfman. Maybe there's a streaming movie or something. We'll just kind of have to see. It's honestly kind of dead, kind of dry until we get to Cap 4. So we'll have to see. But
And the good thing is right now we're getting a lot of movie news, a lot of stuff like
a lot of
releasing.
trailers.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Again, like TV shows. Cole's gonna be watching Severance.
You're gonna be watching Severance.
Hopefully I'll be watching Severance. Last of Us. Like you can go down the list of shows that are coming out this year. Obviously, I don't have like the actual like calendar in front of me, but of course we get Daredevil pretty soon as well. So yeah, man. It's always fun doing the drafts too, especially when you can relate them to
The
um,
review.
yeah, and then we can do like I think we have a rom com coming up, so we can do our rom com draft, stuff like that. So yeah, man. We appreciate y'all watching. If you do like the podcast and you like just hearing us rant about any movie ever, make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below what you want to see us talk about. Our letterboxes, our Twitter. I would say our TikTok, but that's going away, so we won't have that anymore.
RIP. It's officially down.
Yeah.
It's officially down.
So our TikTok will not be in the description. I'm sorry for anybody who's on TikTok all the time. It's a tough loss. Tough loss.
RIP.
But yeah, yeah, let us know in the comments and then follow us down below. Like our letter boxes are updated all the time. I'm sure I'll watch a movie tonight. You can see what I think about it. I want to get Cameron to watch Ratatouille tonight while we go to sleep. So haven't watched it this year. It hadn't been 2025. I can't wait to do a full year and see how many times I watch Ratatouille.
You can go back on your list and yeah.
It's gonna be like 50 times.
I'm
Ratatouille.
different. I'm different from you in that aspect. I don't rewatch movies a lot.
You don't have like comfort movies.
I mean, yeah, but like my favorite anime movie's Cars, but I don't even watch that every year.
That's sad. I mean,
I mean, I don't know. I just like watching a lot of new stuff and TV shows and stuff. But
yeah. I mean,
I did
sometimes
I did just rewatch I did just rewatch Severance and I rewatched Falcon Winter Soldier, to get ready for the new one. So I rewatched some stuff,
yeah.
just not as much as you do, but
I just was wondering if you like obviously like Christmas movies. We'll do that next year or whatever, or at the end of this year. And like
when we have 1 million subscribers.
yeah, we always talk about our favorite Christmas movies and which ones you watch on which day, like on Christmas Day or do you have Christmas Eve, stuff like that. So yeah, man. But anyways, thanks for watching. We love talking movies. Den of Thieves was fun, and hopefully, I mean, Wolfman could be one of them days with Kiki Palmer and SZA. I've heard is hilarious. So we could do that as well. But yeah, let us know in the comments below. Again, like we're posting stuff on Twitter if you want movie news, if you want kind of what we're thinking, like we'll retweet some of our stuff as well. So yeah, man. You got anything else to say?
RIP Big Homie TikTok. Hope you guys enjoyed episode 3.
Yeah. See you on the next one.
Peace.